Oh, well, I can't say they didn't think of everything. Window transparency, color, text speed. Make it fast. Uh, 0.1 seconds per character? I think that's fine, right? Base wait time. We'll make that shorter, though. The wait time always seems too long, I think. At least that's been my experience. Let's get the... Oh, the BGM's already pretty low. That's fine. We'll do... surround. Alright. I don't know why you'd want to, like, turn down specific voices. Sort of a dick move, huh? I just don't like this character. I don't even want to hear her. Just not available in TV mode. Okay, that's fine. Okay, let's do it. The world is covered in white. Snow. Yes, it's snow. Even now, it continues to fall, coating me in its paleness. Ah, what could I be doing here? Better yet, how long have I been here? My hand is buried in snow. It's holding on to something. I pull it out. It's a pure white hand. A girl's hand. Wait, what? Oh yeah, that's right. I wasn't alone. I wipe away the snow on her face. Her profile, sleeping peacefully, appears before me. Yes, this girl and I had always been together. Here in this world. This empty, sorrowful world. I hate this town. There's just too many memories here I'd rather forget. Every day is the same. Go to school, see my friends, come home to a place I can't stand. Nothing new ever happens. I wonder if anything will change if I keep living like this. I wonder if my life will ever change. There's nature almost everywhere you look around here. I guess today is just another day of trekking through the mountains to get to school. The trip would be so much easier if I could just level them all. If I were able to go in a straight line, I'd probably save myself 20 minutes. 20 minutes every day. How much time would that save me a year? I try to do the math in my head as I walk. I can't figure it out. I don't see any other students from my school around. This whole place is empty. Like a ghost town. This is the main street to school, too. Normally, there are students everywhere. Today isn't a vacation day or anything like that, either. So I guess that means I'm late. Responsible students don't just stroll into school at this hour of the day, after all. Still, I continue walking at a leisurely pace, unfazed by my realization and the deserted scene before me. 200 meters left to the school gates. I stand still for a moment. I exhale dejectedly while gazing up at the sky. And I see a skywriting? Oh. There stand the school gates, all the way up to the ridge. Whose idea was it to put a school at the top of a giant slope, anyway? The hill goes on like a never-ending nightmare. There's another sigh, but one much smaller and shorter than mine. I look to my right. A girl is standing there, just as still as me. I can tell from the color of the school insignia on her uniform that she's also a third-year student. But she isn't someone familiar to me. Her short hair, that comes to just above her shoulders, flutters in the wind. She seems to be on the verge of tears. As a repeat offender of late arrivals, I'm not bothered one bit. She, on the other hand, seems far more concerned. The idea of getting to class this late must be pretty upsetting to her. She's nodding her head up and down with her eyes closed, as if telling herself something. Then she opens them. She stares up at the school gates.
この学校は好きですか?
Huh? Oh, she's not asking me. She's talking to somebody else. Someone in her head, I guess. I wonder how he, or perhaps she, replied.
私はとってもとっても好きです。でも何もかも変わらずにはいられないです。楽しいこととか嬉しいこととか全部変わらずにはいられないです。
Oh, is everybody a downer in this game? What? She continues to talk to herself awkwardly.
それでもこの場所が好きでいられますか?
Hmm.
私は
You just have to find more. That's it. The girl looks at me, surprised. It's almost as if she thought she was alone this whole time. Then you just have to find more things that are fun. More things that make you happy. That's all. It can't be too hard, right? The expression on her face. Ah, yes. I remember those days. What it felt like to be naive, simple. That's something we've all experienced. That we've all experienced. Come on, let's go. We start to climb the hill. The long, long hill. April 14th, Monday.
角原
The teacher calls a student's name.
相変わらずいないのか?
I look to my side where Sunohara's desk sits empty. His attendance rate is even worse than mine. You see, the two of us are often labeled as the delinquents at school. But that's probably why we get along so well. He's really the only person in class I have an honest conversation with. Nevertheless, today's classes begin. I spend them looking out the window. The teachers' voices go in one ear and out the other. Class finishes, bringing the school day to an end. Sonohara never did show. In fact, the only person I've spoken to all day is that girl from this morning. It really is just another ordinary day. Since I'm not part of any after-school club, I grab my empty bag, cut through a pack of jabbering students, and leave the classroom. I could go home, but there wouldn't be anyone else there at this hour. Not anyone I'd want to see, anyway. I don't have a mother. I was told she died in a car accident when I was still little. I don't even remember what she looks like. After her passing, my father sank into a pretty deep depression, probably due to the shock of it all. Using alcohol to numb his pain, he wasted away his days gambling. Because of that, a lot of my time as a kid was spent arguing with him, actually. But one day, our relationship took a turn for the worse. He got violent with me. Ever since then, my father stopped showing his emotions. He also stopped calling me just Tomoya, instead calling me Tomoya-kun, as if we're nothing more than strangers. And indeed, he's turned into just that at this point. It's like he's retreating into some kind of shell. As if he's trying to sever the present from the past. It's better if he'd just push me away completely, or even just keep hitting me. At least then I'd know where I stand with him. But no, every time he sees me back home from school, he brightens up like an old friend is visiting and starts making small talk. It hurts. It hurts so much. I can't stand being at home anymore. That's why I stayed out so late now. If I come home when I know he's asleep, I don't have to see him. It's why I go to bed at dawn. Of course, then I don't wake up until noon. I've been late almost every day since starting high school. I spent my life like this for almost 3 years now. Today's no different either. I go home just to change out of my school uniform, then leave again before my father gets back. The routine practically feels ingrained in me at this point. I wander around town aimlessly until nightfall. No matter what, I always end up at the same place. On my way, I grabbed some takeout from one of the local restaurants. I carry it with me as I walk down the massive hill from this morning towards the school dormitory. Our school pays special attention to its clubs, so a lot of students come from more rural areas to enroll. Those students then live here for the next 3 years, separated from their parents. These kids are practically members of a different species when compared to someone without any academic dreams like me. Normally, I wouldn't have anything to do with them, but Sunohara lives here. He used to be on the soccer team, and was even accepted to the school because of how good he was. However, he lost his spot on the varsity team as a freshman after being suspended for getting into a huge fight with a student from another school. By the time the following year's squad was decided, he was already an outcast within the team. He had no choice but to leave. He doesn't have the money to move though, so he still lives in the dorms where all the jocks are.
何度言えばわかるんだよ。
でもすげえ小さい音だったっての。
Sunohara is standing there. He's in front of another room talking to a student about twice his size.
すげえ小さい音でも壁が薄いから響くんだよ。ヘッドホンで聞けよ。
んな高級なもんねえって。
じゃあ聞くな。
いや、でもあれ聞かないと調子出ないんだよね。それに結構イカす音楽だと思うんだよね。今度歌詞とかちゃんと聞いてみてよ。イカしてるから。
イカしてるも何もねえ。こっちはムカついてんだよ。次聞こえてきたら叩き出すぞ。
Sunohara hangs his head, still standing in front of the now closed door.
くそー、ラグビー部め。
He mumbles the words under his breath. He won't be able to hear you like that, you know. Damn it! Shut up, rugby players! Stand behind him. I repeat his words with, or standing behind him, I repeat his words with a yell. Sunohara grabs my head and drags me into his room. I can hear angry yells of, "Hey, who was that?" resonating from the hallway.
僕を殺す気か。
You're the one who said it.
あのさ、岡崎。ただでさえここのところ連中との関係が穏やかじゃなくなってるんだからさ。
Then let's go out with a bang.
あと1年残ってるよ。
And you're just going to live in fear like this the entire time?
あのね、僕だって1対1なら引くことはないさ。たとえ相手がラグビー部だとしてもね。けど周りは全部ラグビー部の部屋。こんな場所で事を起こした日には部が悪すぎるよ。でもまあ卒業間際になったら派手にやるのもいいね。そん時は岡崎、僕の背中はお前に任せるぜ。
Great. I'll be sure to take a shot of my own. I'll be sure to take a shot of my own at you while I'm at it.
来るなよ、行けよ。
I'm on the rugby team side, you know.
いつからだよ。
Whoa, not now, but I will be when all this goes down.
はい？なんでよ。共に過ごしてきた僕らの2年間は一体何よ。
Boom. The wall shakes. The rumble is followed by a quiet down. I'll kick the wall right back for you.
やめてくれ。
You get scared way too easily.
お前な、僕の立場に立ってみろよ。
He's crying now.
頼むから、ここではおとなしくしててくれ。
Sure. His pathetic display has such an impact on me that I give in without thinking. No. I settle down in the small area between the wall and Sunohara's ever-present kokatsu table and begin to eat my dinner. Sorry, could I get some tea?
出ねえよ。
Hey, I said sorry.
頭下げようが出ねえよ。お前、ここが食堂かなんかと勘違いしてない？
We're in your room, I understand that.
ああ。
And you're my maid here.
全然分かってないっすね。
Please? I forgot to buy some.
自分で行くという発想は浮かばないのかよ。
But I thought you wanted to do anything you could to be of service to me after I saved your life. No?
そんな裏設定は隠されていません。
Well, that's what you told me after I saved you, though. That man named Tsunohara died long ago. Before you now stands your loyal attendant. I am but a simple tea servant. And that's what you said to me. So, tea, please.
壮大な嘘つくな。
Alright, could you just get me one last cup of tea then?
最初も最後もねえよ。
Oh, but it's such a moving story. You'll definitely want to pour me some once you hear it. You seem done for, after suffering life-threatening injuries. But I, thirsty, ordered you to make me tea. So you summoned up the last drops of your strength to go brew some, even as you groveled on all fours. And then... Mr. Okazaki, here's your tea, sir. And this cup will be my last. You died with a smile on your face.
僕、むちゃくちゃ本望そうっすね。
Well, it was exactly how you'd wish to go, after all. Nevertheless, I sat there drinking that final cup of tea as I cried. See? Moving, isn't it? So, tea, please.
出ねえっての。
I spend the rest of my time there reading a magazine. With no TV in the room, the only things I can really do are talk to Tsunohara or read.
そろそろ寝ない。
It was late, and the date had hardly changed over. Yeah, I guess so. One line I didn't cross was staying the night in Tsunohara's room. Just the thought of waking up in the morning to someone that is not like that is depressing.
じゃあ僕、シャワー浴びてくっから。
Okay. Tsunohara grabbed some underwear and a towel from out under a heap of clothes in the corner of his room before leaving. I prefer to avoid having to welcome Tsunohara back to his room after a shower, so I'll leave while I still can. I close the magazine and get up on the floor, or off the floor. As I do, I find myself looking at a cassette player. There's a tape still sitting inside it. I try playing it. Out comes the melody of a Japanese rap song that hasn't been popular for a while. Talk about lame. Who listens to this kind of stuff? Record your own voice over it? Just leave it there. Wait, why would I record my own voice over it? I mean, I'm depressed and abused, but I'm not rude. Let's leave it there. This would make it the first time I don't do anything to his room after he leaves me alone in it, but I guess I'll spare him for today. I decide to leave before Tsunohara returns. Oh, was I supposed to pick the first one? Sorry, folks. April 15th, Tuesday. She's standing here again, just like yesterday. You again? Why can't you go up the hill on your own?
それは何と言いますか。
You don't have to tell me if you don't want to. You don't know me, after all.
はい。
But you really should go to school on time, like a good student.
遅刻してます。
She points straight at me, her eyes burning right through my thinly veiled reticence. Forget about me. I look away, unable to meet her gaze any longer. What am I doing acting all serious and getting on her case? I don't know her well enough to do that. She's absolutely right, though. She's just as much of a delinquent as I am. Do what you want. I start up the hill without her. It's just... What drew me to her was the fact that she didn't really look like a bad student. That's all.
待ってください。
A voice. It's hers.
ついていっていいですか？
I look behind me to find her standing there quietly. Why?
それは一人で行くのは不安だからです。
It's kind of odd that she's asking me, of all people, someone she doesn't even know. I mean, she has to have at least a friend or two, right? I look up the hill, squinting from the sun's blinding glare. It's not too far away, and she's got no one else to go with. to go up with right now. I guess it wouldn't hurt. Do what you want. I start walking again after repeating myself.
待ってください。
What now? The girl eyes me, looking as though she's deciding on whether to say what's just popped into her head. Then,
アンパン。
a single word is all that comes out. How should I even reply to something like that? Baguette.
何のことだかよくわからないです。
You took the words right out of my mouth. I was just going to say that to you. So what, you like anpan or something? Was that it?
いえ、取り立てては。と言っても嫌いなわけではないです。どっちかというと好きです。
Talk about beating around the bush. It's not like I really care either way. Alright, well, let's get going.
はい。
There's a bit of a newfound energy in her response. Maybe that was some kind of weird magical spell she cast just now. Tatunk, tatunk, tatunk. Her footsteps make it sound like she's galloping behind me. She takes out a deck of cards from her shirt pocket. Then gently but clumsily she begins to shuffle the deck. Shuffle, 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 shuffle. Hmm? Shuffle, 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 shuffle. And the card scatters splendidly across the floor. Flustered, she picks them up off the ground and starts shuffling again. She manages to do it this time. Fujibayashi clumsily fans the cards out and holds them out towards me. Eh? What's this?
どうぞ。
Should I pick one?
3枚選んでください。
I have no clue what's going on. Is she trying to show me some sort of card trick? In any case, I take 3 cards.
見せてください。
Here. She stares at the 3 cards I had chosen.
岡崎くん、明日遅刻です。
Is she trying to pick a fight? Hey, didn't you just tell me to come on time? What's this about?
学校に来る途中、横断歩道を渡れなくて困っているおばあさんがいて、手を貸してあげていたら遅刻してしまいます。でも、たくさん感謝されて、お小遣いとかもらえます。
Wait a second. Why is your fortune so detailed? I wouldn't believe that if you were using tarot cards, much less playing cards. How can you possibly tell all that would happen with just numbers and suits?
乙女のインスピレーションです。
Her sixth sense is in full force, huh? On top of that, she's pretty confident about it. Could it be that you actually don't want me to come to school?
そんなことないです。ただ、占いでそう出ただけなので。
Okay then, I absolutely won't be late tomorrow. Even if I come across an old lady in trouble at the crosswalk, I'll pretend I don't see her.
それは良くないと思います。困っている人は助けてあげないとダメだと思うんです。
No, I'll abandon her.
でも、
Ding dong. There, the bell's ringing. Go back to your seat.
はい。
Upon me saying so, Fujibayashi heads for her seat with her shoulders drooped. Jeez, she's making me feel depressed.
占い、あまり気にしないでください。
She says and trots to her seat. Maybe she's really trying to pick a fight with me after all. Having been told such a weird fortune, I'm feeling kind of blue. Oh, but I am an asshole character? Oh, I think I made the wrong choices then. Maybe I should just play the asshole, I suppose. As I rest my head on the table after a third period, I hear a thud come from the seat next to mine. I look up to see Sunahara reclining in his chair, a satisfied expression painted on his face.
Good morning. いい朝だね。
ボンバヘ
って感じ？
You gotta be thanking me. Your morning was only peaceful thanks to my generosity.
はあ？お前の寛大さと僕の穏やかな朝に何か因果関係が？あるわけないでしょ。目覚ましのコーヒーを飲みながらお気に入りのヒップホップを聴く。その優雅な時間だけは誰にも邪魔できないのさ。
That's good to hear. I'll be sure to be merciless next time I mess with him.
今度お気に入りのテープダビングさせてやるよ。
I'm not interested in bombing any heads.
お前ボンバイをバカにすんなよ。
No, but you keep talking about this hip-hop mix of yours, and that song isn't even hip-hop. It's straight Japanese pop.
何言ってんだよ。あれは間違いなくヒップホップの最高傑作だっての。
We're not getting into a debate about this.
まあ今度空のテープ持ってこいよな。
I said I don't want one.
さて、昼まで寝て過ごすとするか。
Didn't you just wake up?
まあね。でも起きてても仕方ないじゃん。
You really are the quintessential role model.
じゃ、おやすみ。
He rests his head on the table, unaffected by the fact that he's in the middle of a classroom trying to catch a nap. Brazen indeed. I yawn slightly, probably caught his drowsiness. I look at the table ahead of me to figure out what subject fourth period is. That thin textbook means English grammar. That teacher consistently calls on me. Well, I'm a delinquent, so I'll skip. I leave the classroom and head over to the old building. I tiptoe my way down the hallway. Most of the classrooms here aren't used anymore. They'd give a culture club one of these rooms if they applied for it, but for now they're just being left as is. I sneak into one of the empty classrooms unnoticed. I find a chair and sit down, placing my whole weight on it. Beyond the curtainless windows, I see the same sky as always. I go to the trouble of being truant, and all I do is kill time. The air of the empty room absorbs my muttering. When will my life change? Will there come a day when it will change? Someone I knew said that once. That guy must be really effeminate, I think to myself. Then I realize I was the one who said it. I close my eyes. How great things would be if you could just fast forward time. Feeling the unrelenting sun on my face, I open my eyes. I've had enough of being in an empty room. I get up and leave the classroom. I aimlessly walk down the stairs. A sliding door down the hallway catches my eye. It's the library. A sign that reads "Closed" hangs from the door. Upon closer inspection, the door is slightly ajar. It grabs my attention, though I couldn't say why. I open the door and step inside. Tall bookshelves and reading tables line the room. A faint breeze carries the fragrance of dust and paper. The curtains flow and flutter as if they're breathing. Beyond that, I see a silhouette. It's a quiet female student wearing a childish hair ornament. The emblem on her chest shows that she's a third year like me. For some reason, she's sitting on the floor. Maybe she feels sick. I walk closer and notice that she's immersed in a book. Is she playing hooky too? Tsunohara and I are the only ones who'd be outside the classroom at this time of the day. She doesn't notice me and continues reading. But then she suddenly stops turning the pages. She's found something. She takes out a pair of scissors. She positions the blades on a page and stops for a few seconds. It's almost as if she's meditating. And then, snip, snip, snip. She cuts through the book without any more hesitation. Hey, wait! I run up to her without thinking. She stops and looks at my face. She's barefoot for some reason. Her campus shoes and socks lay on the floor. Surrounding her is a mountain of books and a bag that probably belongs to her. Now that I look more closely, there is even a cushion that she brought from somewhere. Her glare and the relaxed way she's sitting make everything seem unbalanced. That book belongs to the library. She's thinking of something. Snip, snip, snip. She cuts off the corner of the page she's extracted from the book and hands it to me. She's talking about the paper like it's a slice of cake or meat. You eat this? I accepted the piece of paper, but I hold it up and question her. I thought so. I don't want to eat it either. I'm starting to get hungry. We're making conversation, but nothing seems to make sense. Anyway, I don't think it's a good idea to cut up the school's books. It's out of character for me, but I lecture her. Snip, snip. She's not listening. Never mind. Do what you want. I dropped the piece of paper she gave me on the floor. Since I'm here anyway, I glance at the books around her. The thickest book says Astrophysics from Past to Future on the cover. It's one of those books where I wouldn't understand a single word. These books seem too specialized and expensive for a library like this. Looking more closely at the one she's holding, it's stamped Property of Prefectural Library. It isn't the school's book after all. Hey, scratch my head. Didn't your parents ever tell you to take care of public property? She's deep in thought again. She takes a box from her bag and pops open the lid. I didn't ask.
連想と2番目なの。特にこの辺が自信作。
She points at the contents of the container. It does look good. If I remember correctly, no food or drink is allowed in the library. Never mind that. We should be in class right now.
食べる？
Look here.
今日のは粘土じゃないから。
You usually eat lunches made of clay?
食べないの。お腹壊すから。粘土食べたい？
I don't want to eat clay either.
お腹空いてない？
I'm starting to get hungry.
私もお腹空いてきたの。
Our conversation isn't going anywhere and almost seems to be repeating itself. Hold on, I'm...
食べる？
She looks straight into my eyes and asks me again.
食べる？
There's a hint of loneliness in her voice. The breeze from the window floats across her childish hair ornament. It makes me feel guilty for some reason. Oh no, my character's a jerk, so no. No thanks. The moment I say that, she looks at me peculiarly.
お腹
No, it's not that. It feels strange taking lunch from someone I don't know. After staring at me for a while, the girl speaks up with determination.
それじゃあ私が食べてみるの。
You don't need to declare it each and every time.
いただきましょう。いただきます。
She puts her hands together and bows.
最初はだし巻き卵。
She cuts it in half with her chopsticks. No, 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 no. Nope.
とっても美味しいの。次は肉じゃが。
She has that too. Nope, 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 nope. Cool.
とっても美味しいの。それでね、次
She reaches for the white rice.
と見せかけて梅干しなの。
She fakes me out.
これは半分こするのが難しいから、私が先に食べてみていい？
Do what you want.
うん。
She picks up the small ume with her chopsticks and puts it in her mouth.
とってもしょっぱいの。
She says that with a straining voice. She takes out the seed and holds it up to me for some reason. Apparently, she's showing it off to me.
ほらね、粘土じゃないの。
I don't understand a single thing about her. I hear the lunch bell ring. In 15 minutes, the place will be crowded with students trying to study. Sorry I bothered you. After saying that, I turn my back to her. I know she's hesitant about saying something.
また明日。
That's all I hear. I raise my left hand in answer before leaving the library. student in front of him, just like he tried to do with the freshman, so that he can sit next to me. But this student is another third year, and he's on the rugby team. And on top of that, he's sitting with the rest of his rugby pals.
何俺たち食ってる途中なのにどけって
いや1年かと思って。
1年だったら食ってる途中でもどけるんだな。
いやしないしない。
僕この前この人に食ってる最中にどけられたっす。
The freshman on the rugby club, who's sitting with them, loudly announces the fact.
おおてめえ何作ってんだよ。
よしよくわかった。ちょっと裏行こうか。
誤解っす。
Tsunohara gets grabbed by the nape of his neck and... he's dragged off. I leave the cafeteria as soon as I finish my lunch. That was a disaster.
見てあの子。ほらあそこ。
A girl by the window is pointing outside and talking to a friend next to her.
一人でパン食べてる。なんか一生懸命で可愛い。どこのクラスの子だろう。あんまり見ない子だね。
Their words are enough to give me an idea of who it is. As I join the two in looking down on the courtyard, I see a girl sitting on the side of some stone steps, eating by herself. It's her. Go down to the courtyard, I guess. Go down to the courtyard? I don't know. Tsunohara probably won't be back for a while. I guess I'll see how she's doing. Hey. Okay, let us stop it there. This is Apostrophe. You've been watching Clanaad on Nintendo Switch. Boy, it's starting off strange. I mean, your character is unlikable, your friends are kind of unlikable, all the women are mysterious, and that's all I've got so far. I know that this is a very, it was a very popular anime in the 90s, I think. Maybe the early 2000s is when it was made. Might have been in the 80s. I don't know. It's sometime in the past. But you know, obviously the visual novel is going to, you know, have more dialogue and more scenes than the anime would have had. I don't think I'm spoiling anything. I mean, the anime is like super old, so likely if you're purchasing this, you know, in 2020, you might have seen the anime in your earlier years, and maybe you're more interested in an in-depth telling of the story or the source material. So yeah, I think we'll play through this. At least we'll try to for a little while. Hopefully it gets a little bit more interesting, and maybe I become more likable sometime in the future. I don't know. Maybe I'm telling the asshole story. It's hard to say. I've never seen the anime, and so this will be my first exposure to the game and to the story. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, I think. I don't know. Let's find out more tomorrow. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching. I will see you at the next stream.